Hi everybody, Kimberly here, and today I'm going to show you how to do a watercolor resist technique using a stencil and color pencils. I kind of came across this on accident one day. I was trying to figure out how I could do some interesting resist techniques with color pencil, and as I was coloring with my white and clear pencil on white cardstock, I was thinking, I have no idea where I have colored and drawn on here, which led me to think, wait a minute, if I colored through my stencils, I'd know exactly where I had colored. So if you want to see what we're going to do, it's this butterfly here, and this is the resist. I'm going to take my butterfly, and this is from My Favorite Things Dynamics Winged Beauties. I'll put that on my table, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this stencil over the top. This is MFT large polka dots. I'm going to figure out where I like the polka dots, and that looks pretty good. Then what I'm going to do, because I know I want to color all these polka dots, I need a spot or two to hold the butterfly in place, because otherwise he's just going to slip and slide around, and that won't be good. That'll kind of defeat the purpose. So I'm finding spots where I won't be coloring to put some tape there to hold it in place. I think that should be good. Well, let's try one more. Let's do one more right here and keep it in place. Make sure this is lined up the way I want it. That looks pretty good. I'm going to use some more washi to hold my stencil in place so it too doesn't slide. I'm going to use, well, you can use two different kinds of color pencils. I use these Prismacolor ones because I really like them. They're good, high quality, they're really waxy. And I have two of them. I have a white one, and then I have what's called the blender pencil, or a colorless blender. The colorless blender is just the wax without the dye. When I was experimenting with this a little bit, I went in and tried two different butterflies, and hopefully you can see those. Do you know which one I used white on and which one I didn't? I can't really tell either, so there's not much difference. So I think either pencil's going to work. I do like to use the white though, because somehow in my head I think that the white's going to work better. What I'm going to do is hold the stencil in place and color through using the stencil as my guideline. One of the things when you're knowing that you're going to use this as a resist and you're going to put a watercolor wash over the top, make sure that you solidly color in the whole space. Any spot that isn't colored in and covered with this wax and the color is going to show through. So it will, the color will go through and leave a gap in your pattern. You might not mind that, and that's just fine. It may be a shabby look that you're going for, and that's fine. But just so that you're aware that when you go in and color, you want to make sure that you go back and forth and that this space is adequately filled in. So I'm going and coloring with my white color pencil, and yeah, it's dulling it. I will need to sharpen it in a few minutes, but we'll just finish off what we're doing here. A little bit more. Okay, well, let's color him just a little bit more. All right, so now he is all colored in. Take the stencil off and move him, and be real careful about peeling your washi off, because sometimes it does stick on the paper. Go really slowly so that you don't tear it, because you don't want to tear this pretty little butterfly that you've just worked so hard on. There we go. There's a little bit of extra wax because we've been coloring so hard, so blow that away. And to create my watercolor, I'm going to use my favorite way to do this, because I have every color at my fingertips. I'm going to use some dye-based ink. This one is from My Favorite Things. This is Wild Cherry. And put a little bit onto my craft mat. And I'm going to use my favorite water brush. I'm going to squeeze a little bit of water down into the brush. You see how that dripped out? So that I get a lighter, paler color. I'm going to apply it to my butterfly. And you can see it doesn't take very much to cover the whole surface, and feel free to add a little bit more color to make it darker or lighter. And you can see it resisting already. I'm going to go in with paper towel and kind of, I don't know, pat off the extra that's sitting on top of my color pencil that I colored in. You could go back and do another layer of color on here if you want a little bit more intense color in the background. But look at that neat resist effect. Just another way to use your stencils and color pencils and to get a great watercolor look. So there you go, watercolor resist. Now I want to show you a couple extra ways to do this, which is kind of cool. This one is really subtle. I used the colorless blender here, and I use a cloud stencil. And I think this one's really cool. Here, let me grab it. Cloudy day. And it just was softer, less defined. I really liked that. And another way that I did is I used this star stencil. Here, this one is also from MFT, called Starry Night. And I colored through, and I did a bright yellow color pencil, and then I did a dark wash over the top of it to make it look like a starry night. So there's a lot of really cool possibilities for this resist technique. So there you go, color pencil resist with a watercolor wash. Have fun creating.